Today to have on the air with us Donnie Shell, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, now the NFL Hall of Famer. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Donnie, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
Wonderful. It's good to have you with us today. Things going well in South Carolina?
Oh, yeah, man. Hot and sticky and muggy down here.
That's how we love
As
it.
usual.
That's how we love it. This is the time of the year we make it down to Myrtle Beach every year, and it's like, oh, man, I just can't wait to smell the ocean. You're a little bit ways away from there, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, we got 3 hours, almost 4 hours away.
Yeah. Hey, Donnie, for many, many years, of course, we have been big fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and particularly we think back to those 1970s teams, and now another of our great Steeler memories is going to Canton, Ohio, and watching an induction into the Hall of Fame. And you're the latest of the Steelers that is going to go into the Hall of Fame. Boy, just right now you ought to be A, in Latrobe, or B, in Canton, and you're in neither place, are you?
That's correct.
Yeah. Which would you rather be in right now, St. Vincent College in one of those hot dorm rooms, or in Canton, Ohio?
Oh, obviously. Canton, Ohio. I paid my dues. I'm ready for Canton.
You paid those dues, huh? Oh, man. But what a great time it was for me as a kid watching those teams and going to St. Vincent every year, because it was just an atmosphere unlike anything that we could ever dream of. When you were playing for those great Steelers teams with all of those great defensive teammates, I don't want to say what was it like, because that's way too catch-all, but for a kid who was undrafted out of South Carolina State, it just must have been a thrill to join that team, and then to realize you played well with those guys. You fit right in.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't real, but I watched them from afar. The Steelers were my team, and what drew me was that their defense, man, regardless of what the score was, their defense played for four full quarters. And they kind of drew me to them because they were so passionate about what they were doing. And when I got to training camp, man, I saw my heroes, Franco Harris and Joe Green and Terry Bradshaw. And I think you're in awe for about 2 or 3 days, and then the reality kick in of that you're in training camp and you got to make this team.
Yeah. Well, look at that secondary. You've got Mel Blount to one side, and you've got Mike Wagner beside you, and on the other corner, a variety of guys. We think most of J.T. Thomas, of course, and Richards. Tell me about that secondary when you joined it. Who were the safeties?
Mike Wagner and Glenn Edwards were the safeties when I got there in 1974.
Yeah, and so you knew that you were stacked up against it. Those were some guys that could play, and you had to bring yourself up to their level?
Yes. Matter of fact, I think the whole secondary had made the Pro Bowl. And I was fighting against 2 all-pro safeties to try to break the lineup. But, you have to do what you have to do to, first of all, my first goal was to try to make the team.
Yeah.
And I saw that I could do that by being aggressive on the special team, playing special teams. And I was able to carve me out of the niche at the third nickelback on third down.
Yeah. When you hit somebody for the first time in training camp and head started turning around and saying, "Who's this kid?" What must that have felt like?
Oh, it felt good. I remember George Purvis was the defense coordinator back then. We had our first scrimmage. He just said, "Just keep bringing Shell, keep bringing him."
Absolutely.
And then we had one-on-one coverage, and I remember Ron Shanklin was the wide receiver, and he stood up, and so I was in off coverage, but he put his head down, so I ran up about 3 yards from him, and he came off the line, and I hit him so hard that Chuck Nose said after practice, he said, "Hey, Shell, that's the way to welcome the veterans back to camp."
You had a specific role in that very first camp. That's a great story. The last couple of years it's been rough. We've said goodbye to George, and Woody is gone now too. Chuck went a few years ago. The number of guys who have passed away It must sadden you, but still, you've got some great memories of some great legendary Steelers, don't you?
Oh, without question. You hate to lose people that you played with, but you have the memories and the relationship, Todd, is so critically important, and what they meant to you and what they sold in your life, that you can carry that with the rest of your life with you.
You're a strong safety. You're known for your hits. Everybody recalls the Earl Campbell play. You watch a guy like Troy Polamalu come along for the Steelers, and he's going into the Hall of Fame with you. Two great safeties for the Steelers. Contrasting styles of play, though, would you say?
Oh, without question. I think they adjusted to Troy's style of play and just let him use his talents and abilities and quickness, where I was more of stay with the scheme sort of guy, and was able to play the slot, come out and be the sixth defensive back and play corner, kind of like a hybrid position, and allow JT and Mel to stay on that side. And JT, I never thought about this, but JT Thomas said, he said, man, when you did that, you allowed us to stay on our sides. We didn't have to go over there, so you made our defense a lot stronger. I never even thought about that. They didn't have to change positions.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I'm sure that down through the years you watched Troy play and you thought to yourself, once or twice you had to have thought, oh, man, I would have loved to have been able to play like that if they'd have put me in that kind of a system.
I think he was mostly freelancing and just played with instincts, and they allowed him to do that. And he was great. He was a great athlete to do that. And I think Dick LeBeau used him quite well.
Yeah. Your time with the Steelers, of course, is legendary. Of course, the 4 Super Bowls and all the All-Pro honors, all of the interceptions. It must have been pretty frustrating for you down through the years to watch others go into the Hall of Fame. And Donnie Shell was sort of an afterthought for many, many people. But we certainly knew it, and it must have really been gratifying to get that call.
It was frustrating at times, and then as you go, and the longer you go, the more you mature in it, and you just got to pray and trust God, man, and that He's making the right decisions. That's what I always felt and took the attitude. And then as the years went by, I said, Lord, I said, let Your will be done. I mean, if I don't get in, okay, I think I've had a pretty good career.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the Donnie Shell story, of course, includes the fact that you're an undrafted guy. You're coming out of South Carolina State University, and you make the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now you're in the NFL Hall of Fame. South Carolina State University is a very special place for you, isn't it? Tell me about the Donnie Shell Scholarship Foundation.
Oh, it's a foundation where we give gap scholarships, where the parents of students who can't afford to pay for their college tuition, they're used up all their resources financially, and we can come in and fill in the gap, where it's $1,000, $2,500, or they may need a computer, or they may need some clothes or anything of that nature. So we'll fill in the gap. And I was at a school at John C. Smith University, and I saw some parents. They got down to their last monies, and they didn't have $2,500 to register their child in school. So I thought that would be a great idea to come up with to help fill in the gap for those parents, so they can see their child achieve their goal of attaining a college education. And do well and use their talents and gifts.
Tell me about South Carolina State when you went there. That was a whole different era in which you were playing your college football, but certainly from an academic standpoint as well. What was it like for you to go to that school in that day and age?
Oh, it was awesome. I needed South Carolina State University. South Carolina State University they gave me more than an education. My coaches was mentors. My professors was mentors to us. They encouraged us, and you learn to build relationships, because everything wasn't handed to you like athletes of today are going to a bigger school that they had everything there. You had to build relationships with people and get what you needed from those people. So I enjoyed that relationship, and they nurtured me and was able to get my undergrad and graduate degree, a master's degree in counseling. So they gave me a great education academically and also in life.
That foundation that they give to you, and you just said it, it gives you the foundation for your life, doesn't it?
It does, because today you have to build relationships with people. If you don't know how to build relationships with people, then you're going to be behind the eight ball. You're going to be lost. And it's all about building relationships in life. With once you leave the National Football League, you got to decide what you want to do, and you got to be able to build relationships with people and send your resumes to different companies and interact with different executives. So SC State prepared me very well for that.
One of the things I note about it, we only have a couple of moments left with Donnie Shell, is that on the Donnie Shell Scholarship Foundation, you fill it up with family members. That board is made of your family members. It's important to you, isn't it?
It's very important. We're a family foundation. It's very important to them to understand the legacy of where I come from and where I came from, and also to share with them the struggle that young people deal with. And they're very intelligent students, but they just don't have the financial means to go to college. And my children didn't have to struggle with that. I fit that category because my parents couldn't afford to send me to school, so I really know how they feel.
Yeah, absolutely. So folks can give, correct? Anybody wants to give to the Donnie Shell Foundation? How do they do that?
Yep. Go to www.donnieshell.com and look for the donate button. And just send whatever you can to help those young people. And no gift is too small, because those young people really appreciate it.
Yeah, and they deserve that opportunity as well. DonnieShell.com. That's DonnieShell.com. And so we have to close our time together, but you have to admit to me, you really wish that you were in St. Vincent College in one of those little dorm rooms.
No, Todd, it's Canton.
I tried my hardest. Donnie, thanks for joining us. Have a great day today.
Likewise, you too. I enjoyed it.
All right. Have a great time. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.